comes from Canada, or is in Canada, and we've had the most amazing conversation over the last almost 2 hours. Now, Sara, what would you like to talk about now?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We've covered so much. I think I'd like to actually talk about the next stage. You know, like when I started off in podcasting, it was 1 show a week, then 2 shows a week. And then when I started with my own, I had other hosts. And so I had to do all of their stuff. And I did a show a week. And now I do anything from 4 to 8 shows a week, depending on the week and the time. I'm a grandma now, so sometimes I go and take time to be with my babaloons, and that's a shorter week. But you know, it's what comes next. And as when I started this, I had no idea that I was going to go 10 years or have my own network or be doing any of it. But you know, I've got mentorships now where, you know, it's a directory for the mentorship. So people who are, you know, in service, whatever their service is, coaching or practitioner, you know, they share their why story, because I think that why story, we talked about it in the podcasting segment. It's important because I think when people go to someone's site, it's all about how wonderful they are. But I think if they've got some podcasts that they can listen to that people have done of them, and people can listen to them, they're getting to know them. They're getting to know whether they can trust them. They're getting to go, oh, I relate to that, or you hear me, or I have that problem. And so when they reach out to them, there's already a lovely affinity going on. And, you know, it becomes more of a relationship in whatever transaction they're doing, rather than just a stranger and trying to build trust. So that podcast is a wonderful thing to actually introduce you to people and to who they are before you want to do any form of business with them. So that's what that is up for. And of course, then the books. And of course, we've talked about that Forgotten Children series book, which I didn't really go into. It's been with me for a long time. I've wanted to do it, and I'm finally now doing it. And it's an anthology, and each person I've interviewed, and they've all put in a chapter around children from their own experience, whether they've been teachers, autism advocates, a foster parent or a foster child, or people dealing with mental illness with their children. And it's teaching yoga, or even that Victoria Curry in there with raising a child with disability. And it's their own chapter, it's their own flavor in there. And we're raising money to cover all the expenses for it. But the money raised from the book goes back into the organizations they support. Some of them have got their own organizations, some of them support other organizations, because we want this to be a fundraiser book. And it's important to me because children are important to me. And I really do believe that if we invest in our children when they're young and look at the gift they are when they're young, they're that beautiful blueprint. It's not up to us to change the blueprint. It is up to us to understand what that blueprint is and nurture it and help them build it.
Nurture it is a really important thing, and they're our next generation. So we need to nurture them so that our next generation creates a better world for them.
Well, we
and
have
their
dysfunctional
children.
adults out there, and so you know why do we have that? It's because we've let them down as children. So nurture the children, let them be. You know, give them the structure, give them the tools, give them the, you know, learning the boundaries and the do's and the don'ts, and let's encourage them. Let's encourage our children to be what they're meant to be.
And allow them to have that creativity, that fun, that whatever they want to do, and let them see the consequences. You know, they can either go with the consequence or not do it at all. It's up to them, but they have to make decisions, and not big ones when they're little, but make decisions. Is that good for me? Or is that not good for me? Or ask the questions without the fear of asking a question. Being able to feel comfortable in their surroundings and safe, and all those sorts of things that a lot of children aren't these days. And I think that when kids go to school these days, it's, Johnny, don't look out the window, stop daydreaming, concentrate on what you're doing. And it takes away their creativity. It takes away, I'm going to say that, their mojo. It takes away that from them. And when they become an adult, they're lost a lot of the time because they don't know where they sit in the world, or they had that creativity and it's been taken away from it. How do they get it back? They don't know unless they have that guidance. To be able
or the cosmic 2x4 that comes along. puts them back on that path, which many do. We're so, I mean, we've got to remember what the educational system started off to. A lot of it was kind of the, there was the elitists, yes, but for the working people, it was to give them enough education in order to be out in the workforce. Where, to take these children, you just have to look at a child, and being a grandparent, you take more time to observe the child because you're not doing the raising day by day, right? So there's more observing. Watch them at play, watch them in their discovery, watch their imagination. And if we could be behind that, nurture that, and tap into that wonderment, because they're in wonderment when they discover something. Oh, that, I can do that. And I didn't know I could do this. If we got behind that, imagine, they are so incredibly creative. The one thing we make mistake of, we think our children, because they're young, aren't intelligent. They're intuitively intelligent. They're just not academically intelligent, or I don't know how to use their tools, but intuitively intelligent they are.
Oh, absolutely. And they don't have all the stuff that we've got in our heads to mess them up. So allow that creativity, that imagination, that desire to do whatever and have a go at it. And, they'll get up in front of a crowd and they'll dance and they'll sing and they'll do this and do all that
No inhibitions.
No inhibitions. I had my granddaughter over last weekend, not this weekend just gone, but the weekend before, and I had her easel and a canvas there and the table covered in something so that she didn't get paint all over the place. But she played with the paint. She had every paint, every one of my paints out. She had every brush out. And, she'd use a brush and then she'd get another one and everything like that. And then she decided that she'd I helped her paint her hands back and front so that there was no skin. You could see it was just paint. So she was painting with her hands and doing that sort of stuff. And how much fun was that?
Yes, for both of you.
Yeah.
They bring the playfulness back out in us. They bring that childlike enthusiasm because we've become so cynical, and so lack of imagination and so lack of wondrousness. And when people say to me when I was coaching, how do I get my heart back in it again? I said, you go out amongst nature. You listen to the trees, the breeze rustling in the leaves, the ocean lapping the shore. You watch the children chasing the wind up and down, the dogs chasing a stick. If you can't crack a smile, then you're not human. But if you crack a smile, that's a smile in your heart. Keep doing that. Keep repeating that. Your heart will open up. When your heart opens up, your knowingness, your soul intellect comes and speaks through your heart. It lifts your spirit into action, and your mind will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it.
And it's that allowing, isn't it? Just go out into nature and allow it to be. And
don't dictate.
Be in the moment. Don't be somewhere else when you all we've got is what we have right now. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not here, tomorrow never comes. And the future, yes, we can plan for the future, but embrace what we have right now, enjoy it. Look at the abundance that we're surrounded with, and that abundance may not be money. It may be a beautiful garden. It may be the water. You go to the beach and you can watch the water lap up onto the beach or onto the rocks. And those sorts of things that they create the abundance in your life. I've got flowers growing in my garden at the moment, and they are such beautiful colours. They come out every year, and I have to go and take pictures of them. They're so beautiful. And that's the abundance. That's what we need to embrace and enjoy and be grateful for.
That's the appreciation. And little kids appreciate things, and we've forgotten how to do that. We've become complacent and entitled. And it's like, why shouldn't I have? And instead of, it's for me, I can have it. And we need to go back to that of understanding the gift that is in hand, right? And sometimes it's just simply joy. And so many people don't know how to experience joy anymore because they don't trust it, or it's short-lived because burden comes along or sorrow comes along. And that is because we've been conditioned, and all we're hearing is the misery out there because we're not told we can be something more. If you want to be more, you want to have that joy in your life, you want to be more childlike and exuberant and wondrous about your life, make the choice to do so. And that means you may have to go through some things of depatterning, all right, of reinserting different thoughts, different choices, going out and doing something uncomfortable and experiencing it. Believe me, being a podcaster was uncomfortable.
Being on radio for the first time was extremely uncomfortable. I wanted to vomit. And I step out. You would find yourself stepping out and doing things that are uncomfortable. Tonight I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to embrace the journey. I'm not going to say what it is, but I am going to embrace that journey, and you never know where it will take me.
Even if, whatever happens has its own little roller coaster, maybe even some fireworks, that's okay. Because very often you need that, because again, we've got we're so busy, got to be in balance, which you may think is dead still. No, our DNA, everything about us needs to be in flow. So the balance we're talking about is fluidity of our balance, always in flow and in sync with each other, right? Moving up and down nicely. We don't want the highs and the lows. We want just that lovely balance of up and down all the time, flowing freedom, oxygen, blood, chi, everything running through it. But now and again, you need to set off the firework to shift things, to break people out of their spell, and to look at something differently. Because one of the things we've forgotten how to do is look at something from a different angle.
Yeah, true. So true. It's like, I don't know. I love a challenge. I always say, if you've got a goal and you're working towards it, and you've chunked it down, so you're taking step by step to achieve it, and then someone throws a spanner, I always call it a spanner in the works, and you've got to find a way around it. Doesn't mean to say that you can't get to that goal. It means that you need to have a look at it in a different way.
Right.
Once you have a look at it in a different way and say, well, okay, I have to do this, this, and this, then I can go here, and then I can start back on that journey again.
Exactly. And sometimes it may be just to observe the spanner and realize, okay, no, I don't even have to deal with that spanner. I could avoid that altogether because I'm seeing beyond the spanner, there's something else. Right. So, but again, back to being aware and allow.
The experience of that awareness and then allowing it to happen. I think what we do is we fight it. We fight it. Yeah. And because of the fear of the unknown.
But where is that fear come from? That fear, we have been taught, and this has very much come from our religions, our schooling, our parenting, everything. We've been taught to be fearful, and of course social media and everything else, but taught to be fearful. If you really ask people what they're afraid of, they'll go, I don't really know, I'm just afraid, because we've been taught to be. And if we choose not to be afraid because we wish to assess what it is I'm meant to be afraid of, then I can make the choice of whether I want to be afraid of it or not. But don't impose your fear upon me and ask me to eat it carte blanche. No.
It's true. And looking at what is fear, we create it ourselves.
Yes.
Because we're uncertain. We're uncertain about who we are. We doubt ourselves when we could be, have that confidence and that clarity about what we want and go for it. Of course, there's fear in things, but you step through it and you make it happen.
At any age. I'm sure you, as well as me, I'm about to be 69. It's that, aren't you retiring? Aren't you doing that? And you go, what's that?
What's that?
Well, I've still got a voice. I can still see and I can still do. I will do. Right. I've the oldest person I've interviewed was 92, and she's 94 or 5 now, and she still has her own TV show.
Yeah, well, go for it. And
exactly.
Yeah. When I used to teach exercise class, the oldest person I had was 92. 92, and they come to class. I mean,
yes,
it's all mind. It's all
attitude. Yeah. Attitude and gratitude. That will get you there further.
Absolutely. And a long way. It's thoughts, feelings, and actions. And, it's what you think about, how you feel, the emotion of it, and what action you take, whether it's a positive action or a negative action. It's your choice. And we all have choices.
What you seed and what you feed will grow.
Yeah.
Be careful of what you seed. How you nurture it, how you water it, and how it's going to grow. And don't tug at those roots until they're ready to be picked. But if you're getting, you know, weeds, then you've planted the wrong seeds, right? So be careful of your seeds.
Oh, you speak my language. You speak my language. I love it. Love it. Now, Sara, how can people get in contact with you if they want to be on your podcast or if they want to listen to the podcast that you've got there? You have different genres and all that sort of thing. How do they get in touch with you?
So then go to selfdiscoverywisdom.com to listen to all the podcasts. Where they see the podcast tag, you can go to that and you'll see all those different genres. Now, the genres are picture banners, folks. Right. So each banner will say mental healthness or children or this or that. That's what you'll find the topic under those shows. Click on that and there'll be 3 or 4 shows that come up. Some of them have got hundreds. Some of them only got a couple of hundred under each one of them. You just cruise along like a library until you find what you want to listen to. You can reach me at selfdiscoverywisdom@gmail.com if you wanted to be a guest, or if you have somebody that you think that I should interview, or there's a topic that you want me to interview on. I'm always open to that. There is no story too small. If it comes from the heart and it's going to benefit someone, inspiration begets invitation. Don't never undersell your story. But on the other side, you can also go to theorchardofwisdom.org. And that is where we will have the Forgotten Children book and the fundraising that's about to come up for that. It's also where we have the mentorship directory. You can find all the shows there as well. But that is where we have that platform where you can come in and support and see what else that we're doing as well. But it's all about listen, learn, and apply. Because you have no idea what's in that show that's going to pivot you, change you, inspire you, uplift you, shake you up, wake you up, or whatever else it's going to do for you, but it'll do something.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sara. Thank you so much for your time. It is now time for the news.